Hey guys, welcome back to another testing video. This is going to be a modification of the New York slices. I was sent some feedback and it's going to be an interesting custom progression using both positive and negative progressions depending on what happens. So let's just jump into it, guys, and I will explain as we go. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and use dollar units. We are covering these specific double streets. Why are we covering these double streets? Again, I'm going to show you right now the wheel above. These are landing zones, no cracks. All right. So the subscriber that sent me the email basically said he loved the layout. He's been testing it and he's been doing great using a Martingale D. Allenbert. What he was doing is only negative progression. He was just going, well, not negative only, but he was doing a D. Allenbert custom progression, meaning on losses, he simply doubled. And if you get another loss, he doubled. On wins, he will just go back one. So just going up one on losses, double on losses, back one on wins. Okay, and then he would reset in session profit. Today's going to be a little bit different. Let's just jump into it and I'll explain as we go. This is spin number one. And let's see how it goes. We are tracking highs and lows as usual. All right, we start off with a, what is that, 10? Okay, so we start off a loss. So that positive progression part of this strategy or this progression is going to have to wait. So because we start off with a loss. So that triggers this negative progression. So we're going to simply rebet and we are doubling. Okay, so we're going to double here. Now we're at $8 total bet. We're currently -4. Okay, so depending where we are as far as our losses are, is going to trigger something very different as well that I'm personally adding to this. I think is going to work out great. So I will explain once we, let's see what we get here and we'll go from there. Just easier to show you guys. Okay, 29 black. Okay, that's 2 losses, right? So after that double, what we're doing is we're going to play a mini session. Okay, this idea, I believe this one came from Craig. He has one that I'm going to post. It's called Match Play, a tennis reference. So any of you sports people out there, you know, there's like best of 5, best of 7, best of 5. So I'm going to do that. So this first level, right? After that double, we're going to do a best of 3. Okay. So we start off with the loss. So that's 0-1. So we're going to hold our bet here. We're not going to double again. We're not going to continue to double, but we're going to spin again. So this is that first one after that double was a loss. So it's 0-1. And we got a hit right there. So we're going to repeat the bet. This is going to, so now we are 1 loss, 1 win. Again, we're trying to go best of 3. So we go ahead and spin again. Haven't increased yet. We're still at a $8 total bet. Okay, so worst case scenario just happened. Let's check our stats. I'm going to make sure I keep track of that. We're at -16. Okay, -16. So we end up losing that. We didn't go best of 3. We only went 1 for 3. So that means that we had 2 losses. So now we're going to rebet and we're going to double. So now we have a $16 total bet. So now instead of going best of 3, we're going to go play like a best of 5. So we're going to keep the bet at 16. We are currently -16. So let's spin. So we're going to keep track, kind of like many of you guys that are familiar, I can't talk today, familiar with sports. You guys understand this concept, right? So we lost right there. So we're 0-1. Hold the bet here. We're going best of 5. And if it doesn't win, this triggers the next level of the progression. Okay, we're 0-2. Hold bet here. Trying to keep track of everything. We're -48. Okay, 0-2. Now we're 1-2. Okay, now we are 2-2. So win or lose is going to tell us what we do next. Okay, so there's another loss. right? So we ended up in that at 2-3. So the losses outbalance the wins. So we're going to rebet and we're going to double. And from here, we're doing a 7 series, right? A little mini series of 7 games, okay? So let's spin. We're currently at minus 48. That is the lowest we've been so far. So a lot of bad numbers coming up, not in our favor. We start with the win. So we're 1-0. Rebet, spin again. This one is now best of 7, which is the first to 5. I mean, the first to 4. All right, 2-0. Okay, rebet, spin again. All right, 3-0. So right now we're back to our base level. Let's give it one more go. 3-0, trying to get to 4. And we got it. 4 in a row. That's a sweep. That's a clean sweep. We are in new session profit. I know it's only $16. I wanted to add this as a safety measure, right? So you don't continue to just double and double and double. It's just an idea. That's why we test before we invest. So we go back to our base level bet. Let's spin right here. And if we get a win, now that we are in session profit, I'll explain what we do. Okay, so we got a win. And when you get a win and when you're in profit like we just did, now this triggers a positive progression. So now we're not going to double up. Instead, we're just going up 1 unit. So we got a win. So that's win number 1. We're going to track our wins. That's 19 red. That's win number 2. We're going to repeat this bet. And we are going to add 1 more unit. We are on the positive progression now. And I think I'm kind of falling behind on, I think we're about 15 spins in. New session profit is at 22. Okay, so we got our 3 wins in a row. So new session high is at $28, okay? So now we are going to go back to base. We're just trying to fish out 3 consecutive wins. So basically, we're capitalizing off those winning streaks, but we also reap the benefits of a negative progression, but playing them in little mini series like I was painting out earlier that you just seen, best of 3, best of 5, best of 7. We won there, so we're going to increase. It's simple, just a double. Slows that doubling down, right? Okay, so we get a loss. Keeping track of our high is at 30. So what do we do on losses? We're going to double the bet. So we're at 16. Wherever you are on that progression, from there, if you get a loss, you don't go back to base and double. You double from there. So right now we're at a $16 bet, and this is basically series number 1. Let's call it series number 1, best of 3. We're trying to fish out 2 out of 3 wins. The best of 3. 36 is 1-0. Repeat, spin again. All right, we went 2 straight back-to-back wins. That's beautiful. That put us into a new session profit of $38. So we are simply going to go back to base level bet and switching from that negative progression since we won that first series. Now we go back to our base level bet, which is $4. And if we get a win right here, it's going to trigger that positive progression. If we get a loss, it's going to trigger that negative progression. I'm painting out that as clear as possible. So if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. I don't think it's that hard to follow once I just show you how it's done. But we lost right there with the 7. So that tells us a double. And we're going to start series number 1. We're shooting for best of 3. So it could be 2-0 or it could be 2-1. So we're starting off 0-1. Rebet. We're not increasing at this point. We're still playing our first series. Keeping track, 0-1. Okay, we're at 1-1. We're going to repeat the bet, spin again. Okay, so we lost that first series, 1 win, 2 losses. Now we go into the next series. Before we go into the next series, we're going to double up our bet. So this one we're shooting for three wins, right? So best of 5 would be the first to get 3 wins, or 3 losses. That'll trigger the next series. So repeat the bet. We are 1-0. We are 2-0. 2 wins, 0 losses. We're trying to get to 3 wins. Hopefully we could get 3 straight. Let's see what happens. And of course, that 7 keeps coming up. So we're going to repeat our bet. So we're at 2-1. Spin again. And we got the hit. So 3-1. We won that series. So we're at 30. And we go back to our base level bet. And of course, we got a loss. So that's going to trigger us to go into... We haven't been in positive progression much, which is, I think, is kind of unusual covering 24 numbers, but it is what it is. That's why we test it out. All right, so we are in Series 1 again, going best out of 3. All right, first game's a win. 1-0. And we got back-to-back hits right there, so we are resetting. We won the series. Okay. So we're at 34. You could see we are really just... I think this is designed leaning on covering and protecting your bankroll, guys. So this is going to be more grinded out style of play, but I think you could get away with using a very small bankroll with this. Okay, so we won right there. Now that triggers positive progression. Let's see if we could capitalize on 3 straight wins to get up in profit. All right, we got 2 wins. We're going to go up 1 more unit. We are at a new session high at 40. And we got 3. We're 3 for 3. So we're going back to our base level bet, which was $4. All right, new session highs at $46. 8 black comes up. That's going to trigger negative progression. That's going to trigger series 1. So we're going to repeat the bet. We're going to double up, and we are going to spin and keep track of wins and losses. Best of 3 right here. We start off with the win. That's 1-0. Game number 2. And that's a win. So we got back-to-back wins. We could simply go back to our base level bet and reset. All right, new session profits at $50. $50. All right, 13 black. 13 black's a win. Wins trigger the positive progression. We're going to double up. We have an $8 total bet, $2 on each of the double streets. And we missed. Okay, missed right here. That's going to trigger negative progression. We're going to double our bet right here. Series 1, game 1. And we lost. Repeat, spin again. This is spin number 30. All right, we lost 2. So that ended the series. We started, we're 0-2. So then we move to the next series. Before we do that, we rebet, we double up. We're at a $32 total bet. Now we're going for best out of 5, which is going to be 3 wins or 3 losses. All right, we start off with the win. That's great. That's a 34 red, $16 coming back. Game 1's a win, 1-0. Okay, we're 1-1 because that's a loss. Repeat, spin again. All right, we're at 2-1. Remember, trying to get to 3 wins. 2-1. Repeat, spin again. All right, we got it. 3 wins, and that's a slight setback right there at $28. We were up at we're up to $50 in profit. So safe play is to reset back to base level bet. Again, I just built this to test out the idea. The idea was to potentially capitalize off the positive progression, which it hasn't seemed to happen much. But let me know if you guys have any better adjustments to this strategy. Let me know. So we won right there. Let's try to cap and get 3 in a row, capitalizing off the winning streaks. All right, that's 2 in a row. Let's repeat, and we are going to add 1 more unit. All right, we lost right there. We lost at the highest level in the progression. So right here, we double up. We're at a $24 bet. We're starting series 1, best of 3. Spin, or game 1. All right, 3's a win. We start off with a win. Let's see if we could get back-to-back wins. Repeat, bet, spin again. $26 black is a loss, so we're 1 win, 1 loss. This is the deciding game, win or lose. All right, we got a win. We got a win. We got $12 coming back, but you can see right here that put us in a temporary setback. We're still up in profit at $22. But we go back to base level bet. And again, this was built with protecting bankroll in mind and trying to capitalize off long streaks. All right, so we got a win right there. Repeat, double up. I know my spin count's probably off, but I have 40 right now. All right, we got a hit right there. That's hit number 2. Now we go ahead and add another unit. Let's try to get hit number 3, and we could reset back to base. And of course, we did not get hit number 3 in a row, so we're going to have to, that triggers negative progression. Repeat, double, series 1, best of 3. Let's see if we get back-to-back wins, because right now we're just teetering up and down in profit. And of course, we start off with a loss with 8 black. Repeat, that was game 1. All right, 0-2, that triggers us to, we lost the first series. Repeat the bet, double up. We're in our next series, best out of 5. Beautiful, we started with the win. Trying to get to 3. Let's see if we get to 3 straight. We're going to get a better profit. And that's our second win. Beautiful. Repeat, spin again. And we got it. 3 wins in a row. Beautiful. We are at $40 in profit. So we did gain some, we gained some back. So we're going to go back to our base level bet, and we're nearly wrapping up this video. I think I'll just stop at, I'll stop in 5 more spins. That'll put us at 50. All right. Repeat. Double. Series 1 starts the count. Started off with a win. All right, back-to-back wins. All right, up $44. Back to base. And we are nearing the end. We got 2 more spins and we'll wrap up the video. All right, loss right there triggers us to go into the next phase. I'm just going to finish out one of these series. All right, 20 is a win. That's win number 1. Repeat, spin again. Let's see if we get another win right here and we'll end the video. And did we get it? Yeah, 34 red is covered. Beautiful. So we ended on a win. Okay, recap. So we did peak out. I believe I have it written down here at 50 bucks. We ended at $40 or $48 in profit. We dipped down as low as minus 48. So I see this as a low volatility way to play this game. I think this strategy is solid. I think there can be some improvements, maybe a little aggressive on the positive progression, maybe might be a good adjustment. If we were using $10 units, for instance, that would simply mean that the lowest or the how much we won would be 480 bucks, right? So using higher unit size with a lower risk. There's never any strategies out there with no risk, but I'm saying lower risk, lower volatility style of play strategies. You can make more money with it, just adjusting your unit size. Now, I tend to lean on the conservative side of strategies in play, personally. But something that shows me that it could withstand quite a bit of losses without having a super aggressive progression makes me feel a lot more comfortable using higher unit size, if that makes sense. Because the wins, right? You could see this one did teeter up and down, and there were some slight setbacks. But overall, we still ended up in profit, and we made some solid gains. So let me know what you guys think on this one. I think it's solid. I do like, I mean, I haven't seen a lot of strategies out there that have a positive and a negative progression. And on top of that, Craig, I'm going to run his test too. It's called Match Play. He's the one that gave me that idea of playing these little mini series, right? He used the reference to tennis. I like basketball, football, and we all, football, it's win or go home once you get to the playoffs. But, basketball and many other sports, they always have series, best of 5 in baseball, best of 7 in baseball. You guys understand that, you watch sports. So I thought that was a really cool way to play too. That way you don't continuously double after every single loss. But of course, let me know what you guys think. He said he does have success playing this, going up martingale style on every loss, but on wins he goes down. So I could see that probably working too, because you don't get maybe too high because the coverage is pretty solid. Again, 24 numbers. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. And of course, till next time, be cool, stay cool, peace.